Hello, Unit 1.
Hello.
There is no surprise in the question, so at least you don't have that anxiety. We're going to introduce ourselves, then we would like to meet you before we turn to today's question.
Hello, my name is Tandy McConnell. I'm a professor of history at Columbia College in South Carolina.
Hello, Colorado. My name is Elon Bludinger. I'm a resident of Washington, D.C., fourth year judging the Nationals, and during my daylight job, I chair the Board of Trustees at the Washington International School. Welcome.
My name is Sue Leeson. I'm a retired Supreme Court Justice in Oregon and now a federal court mediator. We'd like to meet you, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter Hutchinson, and I'm a senior.
I'm Hannah Burtness, and I'm a junior.
I'm Sam Zisser. I'm a junior.
And I'm Sarah Naughton, and I'm a junior. And this is our teacher, Mr. Mark Talhofer.
Congratulations. It's quite an accomplishment to be here. You might be surprised to know that it's question 1 that we're doing. Why was the history of the Roman Republic both an example and a warning to America's founding generation? Why do you think the founders chose a republican or representative form of government rather than other known forms of government? In Federalist 39, Madison argues that it is essential to such a republican government that it be derived from the great body of the people of the society, not from an inconsiderable proportion or favored class of it. Do you agree or disagree, and why? Please begin.
In spite of its problems later on, the Roman Republic eventually administrated over 753,000 square miles, from its humble beginnings in 509 to Octavian's consolidation of power in 27 BC. This is due in large part to its division of citizenship and systematic techniques to governing. Its successes inspired the admiration of succeeding generations, including that of the framers. The fall of this republic was eventually brought on by both the corruption and the stagnation of the state. This is why the Roman Republic served as both a warning and an example to the Founding Fathers. When choosing a new form of government for the United States, the framers had a considerable number of historical examples to examine. A constitutional monarchy was not very popular amongst the framers because they had personal experiences of the abuse under Parliament. The historical example of Athens warned the framers of the dangers of a direct democracy because of the mob rule that eventually led to both the disastrous expedition to Syracuse and the execution of Socrates. The framers did, however, have a positive experience with the Virginia House of Burgesses, a Republican legislative body elected by the colonists.
This experience influenced the framers to form the United States of America as a republic and aimed at replicating the efficiency, virtue, and collegiality of the Roman Republic before its decline. The Roman Republic pioneered the concepts of checks on governmental power. Individual offices were checked by collegiality, always having at least one colleague holding the same office and the same powers. Additionally, the powerful Senate was checked by the tribunes. The founders adapted this concept to their purposes. Hamilton writes, "Where the constant aim is to divide and arrange the several offices in such a manner as that each may be a check on the other, that every individual may be a sentinel over the public rights." Furthermore, the Roman Republic valued the small autonomous farmer, who encapsulated the values gravitas, dignitas, and pietas, personal worth, seriousness of purpose, and faithfulness to duty, as best exemplified by Cincinnatus.
The warnings of the Roman Republic were equally important as its inspiring examples because it allowed the framers to modify aspects of their prospective republic in order to create a moral and effectual government. In regards to James Madison's quote found in Federalist number 39, our panel agrees with the assertion that a republican government ought to obtain its power from the great body of the society while still safeguarding the dangers of a direct democracy. This claim both addresses the dangers of elitism and emphasizes the equality of all citizens. Most of the founding generation in the United States also valued the yeoman farmer. Thomas Jefferson writes in his Notes on the State of Virginia, "Those who labor in the earth are the chosen people of God." The early United States had its own Cincinnatus in the person of George Washington. The Roman Republic also proved to be a dangerous administration of government. The standing army in Rome was manipulated into a client army by General Gaius Marius, who was then able to forcefully hold consulship for 7 years. The Roman government was also highly controlled by the elite patrician class who formed themselves into the Senate, which excluded plebeians for a number of years.
Madison's statement is a naturalized ideology that's supported by the writings of philosopher John Locke. In the second treatise of government, Locke states, "The power of the legislative being derived from the people by a positive voluntary grant, an institution can mean no other than that positive grant conveyed." He stressed that by entering a social contract, citizens gave up certain natural rights in order to be governed and protected by an elected authority. Similar to the preamble of the Declaration of Independence, Madison's statement about the equity of all citizens was ahead of his practice, considering that his own slaves at his plantation of Montpelier were not included into the great body of society, nor were many of his fellow citizens not until the Amendments 15, 17, 19, 24, and 26, that all adult citizens were given the right to vote. In the late 1700s, the Founding Fathers had a vantage point over both the benefits and dangers of the Roman Republic that functioned more than a millennium before. This made the choice to name the United States a republic an educated and historically supported decision. We are now open for questions.
Thank you very much. Like to start?
Thank you. You know, you made several references to Madison's view about the equality of all citizens. I wonder how Madison would feel today in light of the Citizens United case that went all the way up to the Supreme Court, which allowed corporations to have to essentially take on the place of natural persons and effectively remove their ability limits on their ability to fund political campaigns. Where would that fit in Madison's scheme? Do you think he'd be approving of that, or do you think that would change his view of the notion of equality of all citizens?
In the Federalist paper, they write about how, although in theory a direct democracy is great, but how there's actually, in practice, there's nothing more wrong, about the dangers of 51% of the people controlling the other 49. Although we seem to villainize corporations and villainize the power of money, the Founding Fathers would have supported the choices that the Supreme Court made in giving equal powers to all citizens, whether they be a corporation or just the average Joe.